What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greg's TV Daily Rewind. This is where we go back a week, give you the past 7 days of tech news videos in one single video so that you don't have to go back and find all these videos. And this week was a lot of information about what the Galaxy Z Flip 5 is going to look like and have for some features, the Oppo Find N2 Flip and how that relates to the Galaxy Z Flip 5. We talk about the Galaxy Z Fold line of phones. We talk about the S23 Ultra and so much more. Enjoy this week, and we'll see you down the road. The first and only story of the day, as I look for it, should have had it in place, about the Galaxy S23 Ultra. We've been hearing a lot about the camera. We've been hearing quite a bit about the phone in general, but we've been hearing a lot about the camera lately and how some of the features of the camera are improved. And we're hearing more about that right now because Ice Universe's latest tweet goes into that, saying that the S23 Ultra's night shots with the latest firmware show some fantastic improvements you can expect from the S23 Ultra. Now you might be saying to yourself, how does he know this? How is he getting the latest firmware update? The phone's not even out. Obviously he has an inside friend of some sort that's showing him the phone, that's showing him prototypes of the software that's being pushed out, and he's able to see and define and get this information and give an opinion of it. So that's how. It's not like he's just, I hope he's not pulling it from the air. So that's where it's getting it from. Now, is it something we definitely need, better nighttime photos? Yes. I mean, you look at some nighttime photos, and especially from maybe a few years ago, and you're like, ooh, it looks really bad. And then you look at now, you're like, you know what, it's getting a little bit better. I mean, that's like anything with cameras. I'll look back at photos that I took, 5 or 10 years ago, and or even videos, and I'll look at it and I'm like, God, that looks awful. And I'm like, we really need to be pushing ourselves to get better and better and better, especially when phones are our main source of capturing memories these days. I know still people should use DSLRs and things like that, but these are, what's in your pocket is generally what's going to be used. I would probably say 99 out of 100 times. Most people are just going to take photos and videos with their phone. So the better we can get with this kind of technology, the better our memories are going to be captured longer into the future, so we can capture those and see those. First story of the day has to do with this one, the Pixel Watch. It's the first update hitting this watch, and it's bringing some fixes and some features. So the information that's being coming out right now, and I don't have this update. I checked on my watch for it. I don't have it, but fixes, improvements for hands-free profile HFP calling. Battery saver enable disable single tap support has been added. A fix for the issue where the watch face complications occasionally were not displaying correct data, and fixed for issue where exercise layout was sometimes cut off. Now you can check for this update on your watch. I did. I don't have it yet, like I said, but yeah, nice to see that they're finally pushing an update for the Pixel Watch. And our last story of the day has to do with a Pixel Fold benchmark that has leaked out to the universe, a Geekbench score. And you're gonna hear stuff like, oh, it's not as good as what we get with the Galaxy Z Fold 4 or this phone or that phone. But just remember, if you've touched a Pixel 7 or 7 Pro, you know that that phone is super smooth, opens apps super smooth. It does basically everything that you want very, very well. I say it all the time. We're at this point where, like, sure, can you get some extra frames per second on a phone that's more powerful with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or so soon to come 8 Gen 2? For sure. But will the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro still game at a high enough level so it looks great or performs well? Yes. So don't freak out about that stuff. With that said, though, here are the benchmarks that are being leaked out for this phone. So far, with the scores, you can see right here, they are 1047 on the single core and 3257 on the multi-core score, which I just ran the same benchmark test on my Galaxy Z Fold 4, and I got 1324 and I got 3819. So again, don't freak out. The Google Pixel Fold is going to run the same processor, the G2 processor, as the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. It has 12 gigs of RAM, just like the Pixel 7 Pro, and runs Android 13, like the Pixel 7 Pro. So don't freak out about it. If you're a person that gets locked into benchmarks. You're always going to be worried about, oh, it's not meeting this and this and this requirement. If you get the phone, you'll be very pleasantly surprised and enjoy the experience. So I wouldn't freak out about it. I know some of the media is trying to put some salacious headlines like, oh my God, it's not as powerful, it's not gonna be as great. It'll be just fine. Don't freak out, and you'll still be able to do everything you love, and it'll still perform really, really well. We've got one story for you, but it's a pretty big one. It's a big leak about the Oppo Find N2, the flip competitor to the Galaxy Z Flip 4 phone, and this is having some massive differences versus the Flip 4 in a lot of ways. So without further ado, let's jump into this information. So first of all, this is going to be the specs for the Oppo Find N2, and it's flip. It's gonna have a 6.8-inch main display, which will be a resolution of full HD plus. It'll be OLED. It'll be 120 Hertz. The outside display, which is a massive 3.2-inch OLED 60 Hertz cover display, and it's going to have a MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus processor, which performs very, very well. So don't worry about if you've never heard of that processor. MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus is very, very powerful. Rear cam, 50 megapixels and 8 megapixels. The front camera, 32 megapixels, so some big megapixel-y cameras on this phone. It's got Silicon X, Android 13 running Color OS 13 on top of that, 4300 milliamp battery with 44 watt fast charging, global release of Q1 2023. But to add on to their release controversy, Ice Universe put the two most amazing mobile phones of Oppo will be released in the middle of December, Oppo Find N2 and N2 Flip. I don't know if he means just in China or everywhere, or that's going to be the announcement, but it's a little bit different from what we're hearing, at least on the release date. Now, also, he's also saying that the phone will be available worldwide, but the Find N2 will not. So if you want the flip phone, it should be available worldwide for you to purchase. The regular foldable one, the N2, will be only available in China. It also says that the price will not be higher than the Galaxy Z Flip 4. So the Find N2 will actually either be the same price or cheaper than the Galaxy Z Flip 4. And then the other piece of information now that you can see right here is that we have this new video of the Find N2 Flip from Ice Universe showing it off, opening, closing, shows the outside display, and it's a much different design than what we've seen with a Flip 4 phone. So it's really gonna give it some big time competition. Don't expect this phone to come out in America. So if you live in America, you're gonna have to import it, but potentially Europe, other parts of Asia. So very exciting stuff. First story of the day has to do with the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and what it's going to look like. We've been seeing a lot of the Oppo Find N2 flip phone, but what about the Galaxy Z Flip 5? Is it going to look similar or completely different? Well, the latest information that's coming out from Ice Universe is saying that it's going to look and imitate the design of the Oppo Find N2 Flip. The hinge will be changed to the water drop type used by Oppo, which would be the same as the Find N2 Flip. The external screen will be similar to the Oppo's 3.26-inch screen, and the battery may also increase, but it may still not surpass Oppo. So if you remember my last few news stories, and I'll put it here too as well, this is potentially what it's going to look like, or something more similar to this than what it has in the past, which I think is a good, nice refresh. People want, especially because the phone hasn't changed that much in the last, has it changed at all really in the last few iterations? It's really the same phone for more or less. So it's nice to see some difference coming from Samsung. I think this will suffice and make people happy, and I assume they'll keep this design for another 2 or 3 years ultimately. But what do you guys think about this new design potentially coming to the Galaxy Z Flip 5? Do you like it more or less than the previous iterations? Let me know in the comments down below. And our last story of the day is about the Google Pixel folding phone, and we know more about this phone today, and we're getting more new renders of this phone as well. So why don't we just dive into this pool and get it started. So this information was leaked out from Mr. Steve McFly, and when we go to the website he's talking about, it shows off the phone. So first of all, we're looking at a May 2023 release date, which is about 5 months away from now. The display itself should be about 7.69 inches and have a cover display of 5.79 inches. It's going to run the Tensor G2 processor, but it might be amplified versus what it is in the phone because you have more space to let things heat up a little bit and get some better performance. It'll come in the colors of silver and black, so only 2 colors for the Pixel Fold. It will have 3 cameras on the back, and it'll have an LED flash as well, so you can get some lighting if need be. The SIM tray is going to be located at the bottom edge of the external first screen. USB-C charging port at the bottom side edge of the foldable second screen. There will be no headphone jack. 2 speakers, so you'll get at the top edge of the main screen and near to the USB-C port. That's where the 2 speakers will be on both, the top and the bottom basically. There's also 2 other holes for microphones at the top and the bottom. It's also being mentioned that the display on the Google Pixel Fold shows a very high quality screen and design, and there are significant changes in camera design and telephoto sensors due to space constraints. There's also rumors that there might be a pen or a stylus that comes along with the phone. The phone is rumored to be called like the notepad, which would make sense to have a pen either come inside the box or at least have a pen that you can purchase separately if need be, which I think they'll sell it separately. Also, it's going to be $17.99, which we've kind of heard before, 12 gigs of RAM, and Android 13 will come pre-installed. The other major takeaway, like we've seen before, it is a much wider phone versus the Galaxy Z Fold 4 phone, so it's going to be wider on here. So I'm fine with that. It's obviously going to be harder to hold like this, but ultimately, if you can still put a phone grip of some sort to make it easier, or maybe just holding with 2 hands is fine with you as well. So there are key benefits to it being wider. Obviously, maybe in a writing format to use it as a notepad if it comes with a stylus, or you can buy a stylus on there. And hopefully consuming media will be a lot more fun with it as well. So first story of the day has to do with the Oppo Find N2 flip phone, and probably what we're going to see with the Galaxy Z Flip 5 as well, since we heard yesterday that the Z Flip 5 is going to carry over a lot of the design language that the Oppo Find N2 Flip does as well. And there's some more information to come out about this phone that will carry over, like I said. So here it is. This is the tweet from Ice Universe saying that Oppo Find N2 Flip really you can't see the crease. Of course, we have to respect science. After folding many times, there will definitely be slight creases, but this can be said to be the highest level of crease control for foldable mobile phones. And you can see straight on, you don't see any crease in there at all. And then here's another photo saying, where's the crease? Where is it? Where is it? And you really can't see it for the most part, which is pretty freaking amazing if creases bother you, which they don't me. I've said it a million times. But obviously, like I said, that's something, these are Samsung displays, I believe. It's gonna carry over, guys. So you're looking at the Flip 5 phone most likely not having barely any crease on there. And then you gotta believe also some of that design language will come over to the folding part of Samsung's design with the Fold 5. So we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled on this information as it unfolds, no pun intended. And speaking of unfolding and creases, we're gonna talk about the Google Pixel Fold. What a transition, right? That's probably my best transition of all time to this story. And one of the things I'm wondering about is, are we gonna see a crease on the Fold phone or not? And the big story of all this though is, what are some things we don't know or we're wondering about the Google Pixel Fold? Because we've heard a lot of stuff over the last week or two about the Google Pixel Fold, what it's going to look like, some of the specs it's going to have, but what are some of the things that we don't know yet, or again, that we're still wondering about? And that's what I'm going to go through right now. One of them, I'll start right off the bat, would be the crease. Are we going to see a crease on the main display of the Google Pixel Fold or not? That's a big question that we should definitely keep our eyes peeled upon, because a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. If it does, a lot of people won't as well. So that's the other side of it. Is it going to be pen compatible? Is it going to have some kind of S Pen like the Galaxy Z Fold 4 does? Are we going to see something along those lines? I mean, there's been rumors it might have some kind of pen that either comes with it or it's compatible with. I would guess, this is my guess, because I would guess yes. I think we're going to see some kind of pen compatibility. We've seen it on some of their Pixel laptops from the past, so I think they're going to carry that over to their new folding phone. Do I think it will come with the phone? No, I don't think it will. I think it'll be an extra purchase, probably in the $50 to $100 price range. I think it will be electronic, meaning it will need to be charged. I don't think it's going to be like a dead kind of a pen like the Fold 4 uses. I think it'll have Bluetooth capabilities in it as well. So I think that's what we're going to see. Obviously, it's not going to be housed inside the phone because we haven't seen anything like that. So it's probably going to have some kind of case that they officially put out, because they always put out their official accessory. So in terms of pen compatibility, yes, I think it will be compatible with it, but I think you'll have to buy it as a separate purchase. Next will be battery size. What size battery are we going to see in here? We're going to see a 5,000 milliamp, something bigger, or something smaller? My guess is we'll probably see something similar to what we get with most of the foldable phones that are coming out right now, in that mid kind of 43, 44, 4,500 milliamp battery size. I think that's what we'll ultimately see with the Pixel Fold when it comes out. Charging speed is going to be a big one. Are we going to see, ultra fast charging speeds on the Pixel Fold? Are we going to see 65 watt or something higher? I would guess, again, probably not. I think it'll stick around that 30 watt, 33 watt, kind of what they do now with their current Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. So I don't think we'll see anything too fast with it, but I think it'll still be about 30 watts on there. The brightness of the display, some of the things that I can't stand about Pixel phones are, you put it at the halfway point and it's still kind of dim. When I put it all the way up, especially on the newer ones, especially the Pixel 7 Pro, I can see it beautifully, but it's mentally that kind of turns me off. So I'm hoping we get a much brighter display on the Pixel Fold phones than we have even on older generations of the Samsung Pixel Fold, Galaxy Fold phones. So we'll wait and see what happens with that, but hopefully it comes true with a brighter display on there. Another big one is what is the software going to be like? What kind of customizations are going to be on there? Is it going to be just like a giant Pixel 7 Pro phone running the same exact software, or are we going to see little tricks in there that maybe Samsung doesn't do or does do, and some cross-pollination between the two in terms of how Samsung runs their folding software versus Pixel Fold? That's a big question mark. I'm very curious to see what they do. Obviously, they have Android 12L or 13L, whatever it is on now, on there for larger screen phones, and they have some different things on how to multitask and things like that. So that's definitely a big question right there. But are we going to see extra stuff that they throw in there? You imagine they have to, right? For especially a folding Pixel phone. The name of the Fold, is it going to be Pixel Fold or is it going to be Pixel Notepad? And we've heard both. We've heard Pixel Notepad, which I absolutely love the name of that, because it harnesses back to, you think about a notepad, it opens up like a folding phone, and it harnesses, it takes into effect that you're gonna be using a pen with it. So that would make me think, okay, this is pen compatible. So I hope it's called Pixel Notepad. We'll wait and see though. Trade-in offers, are we gonna see any kind of big time trade-in offers with this? Because remember, this is their first generation phone. They wanna sell this, they want this to be a success. Are we gonna be able to trade in our Galaxy Z Fold 4s or the Z Fold 3s? Or are we gonna trade in an S23 Ultra and get a crazy trade-in offer, or an iPhone or an old Pixel phone? Like, what kind of trade-in offers are they gonna give us? You would imagine it's gonna be pretty competitive with the market. I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, you only get $300 for this Galaxy Z Fold 3 or 4. I would assume it's gonna be pretty high, maybe close to $1,000, especially with the price of the Pixel Fold coming in at about $17.99. And then the last question is, what other surprises are we gonna see on here? Is there gonna be some kind of special gift that's given with it? Is it gonna be an unboxing of what we got in the past with other phones, where you got headphones and a charging cable and a charger and whatever else thrown in there? Or is it gonna be kind of bare bones, you just get the phone? Or are you gonna have some special offer for if you pre-order it, where you get pre-order gifts? That remains to be seen, and it's just stuff that makes me wonder as a whole for the Pixel Fold phone. First story has to do, if you're looking to pre-order the PlayStation VR 2, you now can, without an invite. You don't need an invite at all. When I did it, I had I got it kind of early in terms of the pre-order because I requested an invite and I got to pre-order it the other day. But now you can pre-order it without any invite. So if you have a PlayStation 5 and you love VR and you want to try PlayStation VR 2, it's linked down below. Take advantage of it. It'll ship between the 22nd and 28th of February. And our last story of the day has to do with the Samsung Galaxy S23 line of phones and how potentially it's going to be the last Galaxy S line you might ever want to buy. Per an article that went out from Sam Mobile, they're saying 2023 will be the last year you will lose interest in Samsung's Galaxy S line. They're saying so in 2023 you're going to lose interest in that line of phones. Now, does it mean you're going to lose interest in Samsung just in general and you're never going to want to buy a Samsung phone? No, but if you read the article, what it all has to do with is that, when 2023 rolls around, you're going to want a flip or a folding phone of some sort, and you're not going to want to go back to a traditional candy bar type phone like the Galaxy S23 Ultra of that line. And I don't know, when you read the article, they make their case of how this phone is more durable and the software is potentially a little bit different, has different features to it, and these phones in general feel different. And like I said, I agree with that for the most part. For me, it is like I use these types of phones and it feels different. I feel like I'm using a tablet at times, but then I can close it, make it feel like a phone, and it doesn't feel too big for me. And it does offer a slightly different experience versus a traditional candy bar phone. But do I think everybody and their mother, or most people even at that, are going to lose interest in the S line? No, I don't think so. I think they will as time goes on. I still think I've been saying 5 years for over a year now. So I'm going to say, I think within 4 years, yes, I think the majority of people that buy the phones are going to be the folding and flip phones versus a traditional candy bar phone like the Galaxy S line. I think that's when we'll see it. But next year, like coming 2023, do I think people are going to start to lose interest? Yeah, I think more people will. Do I think the majority of people will? Definitely not. I still think we need to get these phones, these folding and flipping phones, more inexpensive, more durable. Give these phones the ultimate best specs, especially compared to their candy bar counterparts. We just need to see things like that before people are even like, oh, okay. But yeah, I think price, durability are two of the biggest factors on there, and then add in the best specs that you can offer for a phone that you put out and putting it into the flip and folding phones. Yes, that will help add to that whole world of growth for the folding and flipping phones. First story of the day is about the camera on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now, if you love shooting in 8K video, we've been able to do 8K 24 frames per second for a bit now on most of the phones now that Samsung puts out on their flagship side. Well, the newest information that's coming out is you'll be able to do 8K at 30 frames per second now on their Galaxy S23 Ultra phone. So if you love shooting at 8K and you want a slightly higher frame rate, you will be able to this year. And to continue on with the Galaxy S23 Ultra information, we got some weight information, and that is that it's going to be a heavier phone and it's going to weigh 233 grams. Last year it was 228 grams, so just a little bit heavier on there. Bigger battery, more components, better materials, maybe a little mixture of both with all that, but a little bit heavier than previous generation on there. I didn't really find it to be all that heavy anyway, and I doubt I'm going to feel 235 more grams probably isn't going to be that much of a difference anyway in terms of day-to-day usage. And then to add on to that, what about the Galaxy S23 Ultra base storage? This is a really good thing. It's going to start off at 256. So last year they did 128 with 8 gigs of RAM. They're going to do 256 as the base storage. You got to imagine it will start off at 12 gigs of RAM. So very good news on the base storage front, so you don't have to pay more to get more. The question of the day is, what do you think about some of these improvements? A little bit heavier, base storage increased, cameras 6 more frames per second. Obviously these things, maybe the storage might be a big important thing for you obviously at the base side, but is it a big, are these things that are going to make you buy it? Probably not, but what do you think about them anyway? Let me know in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's jump into the Q&A. First question from Diana Valdepena. She said she's glad she found my video. It seemed to be very knowledgeable. She's asking me a question. Her husband has severe hearing damage, and she wants to know if they can use the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro as almost like a hearing aid replacement, because the hearing aids they use kind of feed back at times. And yes, you can, to an extent. You know, the ones that are supposed to be the best for like hearing aid replacement but aren't really a hearing aids are the AirPods Pro 2, at least from what I've heard. But these kind of do something similar where you can increase the outside noise that you hear, the transparency mode. You can increase that mode to basically a lot so that you can hear, but that still kind of feeds back at times. When you take it out of your ear, when you put it back in, it might feed back for just a split second. But yeah, you can do it as long as you increase their, you know, the outside hearing, which is, I can't think of the exact, what Samsung exactly calls it, but it's transparency mode. And our last question from Darnell Harris: will you be getting the Google Pixel Fold? Yes. Google, I hope you send it to me if you're watching, so I doubt you are, but if you are, please send it. I would assume they're gonna send it. I am part of Team Pixel, but even if they don't, I'm gonna buy it. But I hope they don't know that because I wanna get it for free. Thank you so much, guys. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below with the hashtag question, and I will answer it in tomorrow's video. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.